Back in 1970, a nursing student named Donna was living in Hartford, Connecticut, sharing a small apartment with her roommate, Angie. Donna's birthday was coming up, and her mom wanted to give her something meaningful. Something that felt personal. She found a Raggedy Ann doll, about 3 feet tall. Soft cloth body, red yarn hair, and a stitched smile. It was a bit old, even for the time. But Donna's mom thought it would be comforting, maybe something to brighten up her daughter's apartment while she was busy working. Donna kept it at her bed at first. It wasn't anything they paid much attention to. It was just a doll. But after a week or two, things started to get weird. Sometimes the doll had changed positions, or it was in a completely different room. But of course, they ignored it. They assumed they were just forgetting where they left it, or maybe one of them had moved it and didn't think twice. They didn't think much of it at the time, but Lou noticed it too, and from the beginning, something about that doll made him uncomfortable. Lou was Angie's fiance. He didn't live there, but he spent a lot of time at that apartment. And while Donna and Angie just laughed things off, Lou didn't. He said something felt off, like the doll was just wrong somehow. He didn't believe in ghosts or anything like that, but he still told them that they should get rid of it, but they didn't. A few days later, after a long day at work, Donna came home and noticed something strange. A piece of parchment paper lying on the floor. Written on it is what looked like a child's handwriting, and it was the words, "Help me." This was the first time they started to really understand what Lou had been warning them about. They didn't even own parchment paper, so they had no idea where it could have come from. But still, they threw it away and tried to move on. But it didn't stop there. Over the next several days, more notes appeared, always the same kind of paper and the same shaky handwriting. One of them even had the message, "Help Lou." That same night, Lou had a strange experience. He had fallen asleep, and for some weird reason he couldn't explain, he suddenly woke up in the middle of the night, wide awake, but completely frozen. He couldn't move a muscle, couldn't speak, couldn't even turn his head. At first, he thought maybe it was just sleep paralysis, but then the air in the room changed. It felt heavier, like someone else was there. He couldn't see anyone, but then he looked down. The doll was sitting near his feet, facing him, just sitting there. But something about the way she looked at him was terrifying. The pressure on his chest got stronger, like something was holding him down. He tried to cry out, but nothing came out. And then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. And as soon as he could move, he got up and realized his chest was burning. And when he looked down, he saw 3 long red scratches across his chest. He quickly went to Donna and Angie for help. They'd seen plenty of injuries and they treated much worse. But this time, they couldn't explain how it had happened. There was no reason at all for them to appear. And that's when things changed. The doll had gone from a thoughtful gift into something they were genuinely uncomfortable around. The apartment felt different now. Like the air had changed. Heavier. Like something was watching. They tried to stay logical. Maybe it was just stress. Maybe Lou's scratches can be explained somehow. But deep down, they were starting to believe it. Maybe Lou had been right from the beginning. Maybe there really was something wrong with the doll. By this point, the apartment felt off in ways they couldn't explain. Donna and Angie had gotten used to some of the strange things. The notes, the moved objects. But Lou's scratches changed everything. This wasn't just uncomfortable anymore. It was starting to feel dangerous. They were still trying to make sense of things, but they didn't know what else to do. So they reached out to someone they never thought they'd call. A medium. It wasn't really something they believed in. They were nurses. They always looked for logic. But nothing about the situation made sense, and the usual explanations just weren't cutting it anymore. They figured it couldn't hurt to try, so they did. The medium came to the apartment one afternoon. She didn't do any kind of dramatic ritual, no candles or seances. She just sat quietly in the living room with the doll right in front of her. But after a few minutes, she said she felt a presence, a spirit. A little girl named Annabelle Higgins. The medium told them that Annabelle had lived on the land long before the apartment complex was built. She died there, tragically, when she was very young. She was alone, scared, and drawn to Donna and Angie because they were kind. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She just wanted to be cared for and be a part of the family. They looked at the doll with her innocent looking eyes and felt sorry for her. They were nurses. They were supposed to help people, and now they were being told there was a lost child spirit in their home, just looking to be cared for. So they made the decision. They told the medium they were okay with it. They gave Annabelle permission to stay. From that point on, they started treating the doll differently. They started calling her by her name. They greeted her when they came home. They included her, talking to her now and then, moving it to different places around the apartment so she could see what was going on. It was a bit strange at first, but it also felt like the right thing to do. They believed they were doing something kind. And for a little while, things actually got better. The apartment was quiet. The energy felt lighter. Annabelle kept moving around the apartment by herself, but at least the strange notes stopped showing up. And for the first time in weeks, Donna and Angie felt like maybe things were under control. But of course, that didn't last for long. A few weeks later, things started picking up again. They began hearing odd sounds at night, loud knocks on the door, vain whispers in the other room. Once, Donna swore she heard something that sounded like laughter coming from the living room, but the apartment was empty. At first, they figured it was harmless. Maybe Annabelle just wanted some attention. But the activity started to grow. One evening, a picture frame flew off the wall and shattered. It just launched across the room and shattered on the floor without explanation. Another time, Angie was in the kitchen and felt something tug at her shirt from behind. When she turned around, she saw Annabelle in the other room, sitting on the couch, looking directly at her. And then came the final straw. Lou was back at the apartment. He said he had a weird feeling in his chest, like something was building. He walked in Donna's room to grab something and froze. Annabelle was sitting on the floor, arms in her lap, head tilted slightly to the side. And then, without warning, he felt a sharp pain across his chest again. He stumbled out of the room, gasping for air. When Donna and Angie came running, they found him pale and shaken. And again, he had fresh, red scratches down his chest. That was it for them. They were done. They knew they had to look for someone else, but they didn't know where to begin, so they decided to reach out to a priest. They told him everything, the scratches, the notes, the medium. He listened to their story and wanted to help, but he admitted he wasn't equipped to handle that kind of situation. So instead, he told them about a pair of investigators who were a lot better prepared for something like this. Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens had dealt with cases like this before. At least, that's what the priest told them. They weren't ghost hunters or psychics. Not exactly. Ed was a self-taught demonologist, and Lorraine was a clairvoyant, someone who had claimed to sense things others can't, whether from the past, future, or even far away. Together, they spent years investigating claims of paranormal activity. So when they arrived at the apartment, they didn't waste time. They asked Donna and Angie to explain everything, from the day Annabelle arrived, to Lou's dreams, to the medium story about Annabelle Higgins. After hearing the story, they immediately gave Donna and Angie an answer they weren't expecting. The Warrens told them that the spirit they were dealing with wasn't a child at all. They believed it was something inhuman, something demonic. And the story about the little girl, Annabelle Higgins, was just a trick. According to the Warrens, the doll wasn't possessed. That's not how it worked. Spirits didn't inhabit objects. Instead, something way darker was using the doll to manipulate them. The spirit had been lying the whole time, pretending to be innocent, pretending to be harmless, so that Donna and Angie would let their guard down. And that's what made it so dangerous. The Warrens explained that these kind of entities don't start with violence. They start with fear and confusion. They look for emotional weakness, and then they slowly escalate. First, the doll moves. Then, it leaves messages. Then, physical marks and violent outbursts. According to the Warrens, the end goal was full possession. But not of the doll, but of them. Donna and Angie were shocked. They didn't think they were in that much danger. They just wanted to help a child. And instead, something was using that kindness against them. The Warrens called in a priest to bless the apartment. He went room to room, reciting prayers, sprinkling holy water, cleansing the whole apartment to force the demon out. After the blessing, the Warrens decided the best thing to do was to take Annabelle with them. Before they left, Ed reportedly warned Lorraine that the ride home might not be smooth. Ed kept Annabelle seated in the back seat and sprinkled it with holy water. According to him, every time they hit a sharp curve or a bump in the road, the car stalled. The brakes failed more than once. And even though it wasn't a long drive, it felt like hours. Eventually, they made it home and immediately started working on placing Annabelle somewhere where evil could be contained. They've handled evil objects before, things they believe were cursed, but Annabelle, she was different, dangerous. So they placed her inside a specially built wooden case with a glass front. On the outside, they had to make sure to warn people about her. Inside the case, they added religious protections like holy water, Bible pages glued to the box walls, and crosses carved into the frame. According to the Warrens, Annabelle was still very dangerous, even after all the protections. They believed the demonic presence couldn't be destroyed. It had to just be contained. As for Donna and Angie, once Annabelle was out, so was the activity. No more scratches, no more notes. The apartment felt like a normal place again, and they moved on. From that point on, Annabelle stayed at the Warrens Occult Museum, sitting in the same case. But even decades later, people claim that the energy near her display felt heavy and uncomfortable, and some people even refused to go near it. The Warrens also claimed there had been incidents. One of them involved a man who was visiting the museum with his girlfriend, and when he heard the stories, he laughed, tapped on the glass, and challenged Annabelle to do something about it. On the ride home, the man lost control of his motorcycle and crashed into a tree. He was killed instantly, but his girlfriend survived, and later said that they had been joking about Annabelle just moments before the accident. It could have all been a strange coincidence, but for some, it makes the warnings feel much more serious. After the Warrens passed away, the museum closed its doors and the collection was no longer open to the public. But Annabelle didn't disappear. As of 2025, Annabelle has been taken out on tour as part of our traveling exhibit called Devils on the Run. But even on tour, she is still locked inside a case, still just watching. So whether people believe any of this or not, the story lives on. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe Annabelle is really haunted or just a story that got out of hand? And if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. And we'll see you in the next one.